Greetings and welcome once again to another live and exciting session here on Wife Only. Today we're going to be dissecting the concept of freedom. Yes, freedom. And your freedom means so much to us. We desire for you to live a life that is meaningful, one that is free. But in order for you to be free, you have to understand what it means. And in dissecting this concept, we are going to be exploring two phrases, two words: civil rights versus human rights. So when we can do the distinction between them, then we can position our relationship in a way which is guaranteed to ensure our freedom. If that is something that you're interested in hearing about, let us get on the inside on Wife Only. Now, we live in a world where the perception of reality is more real than the reality itself. Can you imagine that? John 8 and verse 31 through 32 says, Then Jesus, to those Jews which believe on him, if he continue in my word, then are he my disciples indeed. And he shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So the concept that I want you to understand is that it says, and he shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So the truth in and of itself does not make you free, because the truth is a truth, and the truth exists whether you believe it or not. But knowing the truth means that there is an application of the truth, not just only having an idea of the truth, but when you know and actualize what the truth is saying to you, then you can become free. Because if you need to get some financial resources, and you know how to get the financial resources, but you've never applied the truth of the principles to get the financial resources. You may have a knowledge of the truth in order to get the financial resources, but because you did not apply the truth, you will not have the financial resources that you so desire. So knowing in this situation means the application of that information. And when that information is applied, then the truth will indeed make you free. And I know that your freedom is important to you. And as such, let us get into the meat of the matter of the meat that you came here to devour. A concept that often baffles many individuals is that of the epistemology fallacy. How knowledge is sought and gained, the validity of the knowledge gained, and the distinction between justified beliefs and opinion. Well, when we speak about epistemological fallacy, these are flawed conclusions or beliefs which are flawed because the means of arriving to the conclusion or beliefs were flawed. So if it's like garbage in, garbage out. So if you have errors in the initial foundational steps, then what you get out, even though it may appear as fact, is actually error. It is a fallacy. So the idea that legality equal morality is flawed, because not because something is legal mean that it is moral. Slavery, propagated by the queen and propagated by the monarch and propagated by those who were oppressors, was considered legal. But was it moral? Legal is not equated to morality or moral. Not because someone says that it is right for two persons of the same system of natural design coming together who cannot procreate is legal, doesn't mean that it is moral. Moral speaks to the foundational principles of that which is right and wrong, when there is an hierarchy in which there is a God governing those individual or those practices and belief. When man comes into play, it is more like ethics. Not because something is considered to be illegal means that it is immoral. Yes, it was at one point illegal to set people free, even when they were in captivity. But was this truly immoral? So there comes a time when you as an individual have to take your relationship in your own hands and decide for yourself if this really makes sense. Responsibility has to be taken. Responsibility means that you are in a place God promised you. How many of you want to be in the place that God promised you? I surely desire to be in the place that God promised me. On this journey, you must be diligent enough not to mistake deliverance for freedom. Sometimes when people get delivered, they believe that they are free, but deliverance and freedom are not equated of equal weight. Though you may have a deliverer, you have to choose to become free. So someone comes, gives you the knowledge and presents the information to you, delivers you from the situation, but in order for you to be free, you have to embrace it. You have to say, yes, this is what I desire. And if you don't desire that which is given to you, then how can you become free? If we look back in recent times, we could conclude that Martin Luther, yes, Malcolm X, etc., they were great deliverers. But did they truly bring freedom? Thus, it brings to the distinction between civil rights and human rights. They are not equal, as civil rights does not bring about human rights. Human rights serves its purpose as it allows for the appreciation of human rights. Yes, upon understanding human rights, you will realize that no one can give you civil rights, as this here is an illusion. It is a fallacy. The distinction between civil rights and human rights could be parallel to the difference the children of Israel experienced at Sinai and Canaan. While they were walking and experiencing their wilderness experience, those who oppress you are not ever pleased when you decide to leave the bondage of their oppression. So they will create laws, they will create sanction in order to keep you enslaved. They will try to even gaslight you so that you believe that you are doing something wrong when operating in your best interest, in the interest that God desires for you. So you have to know in and of yourself, you have to have a clear mind so that you can make logical and rational decisions for yourself. Society and the government being run by the elites does not actually want you to be free. And I hope that I didn't have to present that to you for you to understand it. I hope you understood it before now. But if you are just getting a grasp of what is happening, then take your time and digest this information. But don't take too long, because if you wait too long, it may just be too late to apply. Not because you may have been given the right to vote means that you are free. It does not automatically means that you have human rights. When you engage in a relationship that is unequally yoked, you are actually under oppression. So a lot of females say that I don't want anyone to control me, but you are willing to go under oppression, sharing in a situation in which the belief system that the leader of that relationship has is not in conformity with what is desirable. So you are willing to self-impose oppression on yourself just because the heart wants what the heart wants. But if your heart was keen and well tuned to that which is right and righteous, then you would have been in a position to avoid this catastrophe. You needed to leave these situations alone. The bondage or being transfixed by the vein should be released. It should be noted that the oppressor, the person you would have engaged in that relationship with, willingly or unwillingly, will not desire for you to leave. It is actually because you love this person that you are going to leave that state of oppression as you march onto liberty. It does not make sense to have an oppressor ruling over you. But too many females make the mistake of having an oppressor ruling over them. And then they question, why is it that I am not getting the results from the relationship that I'm in? It is because the foundation was not appropriately excavated. Those who are oppressed are normally only let go because of problems. So you see, when you get in a relationship with someone and you start to cause problems for that person, or you start to create turmoil in that relationship, that is when the person wants to let you go. And if you are in a relationship and you realize that you are creating problems, turmoil, atrocities, you are not willing to submit, it means that that is not the place that you should be. In the case of Pharaoh, his son had died. The locusts, frogs, the blood in the water supply, and all the plagues that had been allowed upon the land was actually the reason why he decided to let the people of God go. Because they were good workers under oppression. They were doing what they needed to do in order to build the elite society, which was the Pharaoh society. So he was comfortable with them being subjected to him and his authority, his rulership, his leadership. But because the problems, the plagues came upon him and his people that he had a greater respect for, that is why he allowed the people to leave. It was not because he did not want them to be enslaved. It is because he could not deal with the problems or the pressure that was upon him as the oppressor. There has never been a case in history in which the oppressor and the enslaver say to themselves that they were tired of oppressing or enslaving. It was always because of problems and pressure. As it relates to your relationship, you should prefer to leave before problems, as you can see the problems before they occur. It is better to stay in alignment with the will of God and be free than to choose a contrarian alignment and become bondaged or enslaved, waiting on the deliverer to release you. At this moment, we're going to pause just momentarily so you can digest this information. But we have not yet completed or concluded our thought session on your freedom as it relates to civil rights and human rights. But I assure you that this discussion is only going to get better. Remember, it is our desire on Wife Only that your relationship be better and not bitter. Until next time, continue to be the wife you were meant to be. Be blessed, and don't forget to share your listening blessing. Choose to be free.